Hey guys, what's up? MoneyB123 here with you today. Today is what I have is a Motorola Xoom. This is the original Motorola Xoom. I don't know the exact model number on this, MZ601 or 603 or 64, I'm not sure. This belonged to my uncle. He gave it to me, the battery was dead, and it's not charging. And that's what we're going to be doing today, is I'm going to show you how to replace the charging port on this. But because I can't get into the settings, I can't find that model number, and I've looked everywhere else. I can't see it. It may be there, but I can't find it. But once I get this charging port replaced and I get it charged up, I'll probably annotate the actual model number somewhere around here in the video. So, like I said, my uncle gave this to me. I've seen him use it before. He called me up and said, charging port has gone bad on this thing. He can't charge it anymore. He bought him a new Samsung tablet, so he was going to put this in his electronic heap and asked me if I wanted it. So anyways, that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to try to replace this charging port today and see if that's the problem. There may be something else that's the problem, but here's the charging cable, and I've left this thing plugged in for 2 days and there's just nothing. It's not powering up at all. So I got to wondering, maybe it's this cable right here, and it still could be. So we'll see once I get done with this. But I am going to go ahead and replace that charging port. But it's what I did is with the charger unplugged from the wall, I took a staple and put it down inside of this little port right here on the charger, and the staple went well below this plastic piece right here. It went way down in there. So I was just checking to make sure that there wasn't something that was actually stuck in this thing, and that staple went way down, way further than what this has to plug into here. So pretty confident there's nothing inside of here that's causing it from going far enough to be able to start charging. And by the way, this charging idea wasn't too swift, I don't think. I mean, that's pretty terrible to be charger that small, nothing to really hang on to it, that thing pulled right out. Maybe that serves a purpose. Maybe it keeps it from breaking or something. It'll just pull right out without tearing anything up. I don't know. But I guess that's neither here nor there. So what I'm going to be doing is we're going to be replacing this charging port right here today. And I've already taken this thing apart once just to make sure that I can go through the steps here. And when I first took this thing apart, I could see in the charging port that it looked like it was burned a little bit. Like there was some like corrosion, but like black corrosion. Like if you've ever seen a board or something like that that's been spiked with electricity or something, and where you can see something has been burned, that's what it looked like on that charging port, and kind of in back behind there also. So I tried to clean that up and see if maybe it was just the corrosion that was keeping it from conducting electricity. That didn't help it. But now you won't be able to see that. But I did take pictures before, so I'm going to roll those pictures in right now so you can see what I'm talking about there, of where you can see there's just a little bit of blackness there, and there was corrosion on the actual charging port and on the little board that it bumps up against where there's contact made. So I tried that, cleaned that all up real good, put it back together, and I've tried to charge it for a whole other day and still nothing. So that's my next step now, is to actually replace it, and it's back behind this little plate right here, and we'll get to that in a little bit. Okay, the tools that you're going to need is you're going to need the two main ones. Sorry, I'm getting a screwdriver out here. The two main things you're going to need is a T5. If I can get that to. You need a T5 and a T6. Yeah, T5 and T6, I think. But those are the two that you need. These are Torx, or they call them Star. So you need the T5 and the T6. So I went to Walmart and bought this cheap made in China set. I even went to my dollar store to see if I could find one even cheaper that just was a Torx set. Couldn't find that, and this was the cheapest one I could find at Walmart with those bits. This thing was $7, I believe. But all the other Torx sets that they had at Walmart were T10, T15. They were just way too big for what we needed. And I've tried I've tried using a T4 on these screws right here, and it just spins right around in the slot. And I try to put a T6 in there, and it's just too big. So it really needs to be exactly those. You're going to need T5 for these, and then I'll show you what you need for the others that we're going to be getting out. So we need T5 for these two. So let me go ahead and take those two out. Okay, so these first two screws right here that hold that little charging port, that little plate on there, these two are T5. And then this little plate right here just comes right off of there. So you have this little plate and these two little screws that are T5. So set these aside, make sure you keep those in place where you're not going to knock them over on the floor because they're going to be hard to find. Okay, so once you do that, once you take these two screws out right here and you take this little plate off, and the back side is just going to slide down. Now it's going to get down to a certain point here, and there's going to be two little tabs that catch. Okay, right along this little groove right here, and right along this little groove right here. And what you need to do, if you'll look down in there, shine a flashlight in there. It'd be pretty hard for me to do that, for you to see it. But right down in there, if you shine a light, you'll see a little copper-colored tab. And so what you need to do is take your screwdriver and push it down in there and push that tab back where it catches onto this little notch right here. So what you do is you go in there and you push that little tab out, and it'll release from there and allow this to slide the rest of the way down. Okay, and a couple times I've taken this apart. I hope those don't serve a function. I don't think they do, other than keeping it in place, but those kind of got damaged for me. So hopefully that's not going to be a problem. Oh, here I see the number. Try to cover. Okay, this is an MZ. This is an MZ604. Okay, which I think I saw just a second ago is it's a 604 because it has a SIM card tray here for GSM connectivity. Okay, now the little charging port that we're replacing, let me get this out real quick, is a tiny little piece. It's this tiny little thing right here. And it's what it does is it sets up underneath this board right. Sorry, it sets up underneath this board right here. It's right there. All right. So first thing is there's a little clip right here. There's a connection. What you want to do is just lift this connection up real easy, and this part right here has some you'll feel it has some tackiness to it, a little bit of adhesive. But once you pull this connection loose from right here, okay, then that'll pull that back. Let me get a close up on that. So you're pulling this connection loose from that right there. Alright, then once you do that, and there's a little plastic piece here, a little plastic cover that just basically pulls out of place there. And all this does is just provide a little bit of protection, dust protection, and I guess a little bit of water resistance. Not a whole lot, but it keeps stuff from going in, up, or around right there where your ports are open. So you're going to pull that piece off. We'll put that back on in a little while. Okay. So what we need to do is this little charging port right here, like I said, is just sitting right underneath this board right here. Okay, this piece right here is sitting just up underneath here. There's nothing really holding it on except for the board being screwed down and just holding that in place. So what we need to do is just loosen this board kind of down here on this side just a little bit, just enough to be able to pull that out of place so that we can put the new one in there. Okay, so these are going to be the T6, I believe. No, those are T5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out 1, 2, 3 screws here first of all. 1, 2, 3, and that's going to loosen us up a little bit there. And I don't remember if that's good enough to get us loose enough. We'll see. So I'm going to go ahead and take these 3 out first. Alright, so far I took that one out, and that one out. Let me just try to lift this up enough and see if I can get that little charging port out there. Yep, that's good enough. So with that, you'll just kind of grab this and just flex it up. Focus. Flex it up enough. This little charging port right here. We'll pull it loose. Okay, and let me see if I can get a good enough close up here. I don't know if you can tell, but there's a tiny little bit of blackness on the back of that copper color there. Let me compare it to this new one. See the old one's on the right, new one's on the left. You can definitely tell their difference. Very shiny on that side. This one's dull from being kind of burned out. So I don't know if there's something that's been burned out enough in there that's basically kind of happened like a fuse possibly, where it's just burned it out so much that there's a disconnect somewhere. That's what I'm assuming is happening. So this part I got it off eBay. I'll put a link in the description to just an example of this on eBay, but I paid $6 for this, and I went ahead and paid $2 extra for shipping to get it here a little bit quicker. So I paid $9, something like that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is, okay, so obviously this is where the male end is going to of the charger is going to go in, so obviously that's got to be going out, and then these 2 little tabs, this little tab right here, and this little tab on the other side is going to make direct contact with this green board on here. So that's the way I want it to sit, is like this in here. It's going to sit like this, where those little tabs are making contact with that board. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flex this up a little bit here. I'm going to slide that right down into place. See what I did there? I just flexed that out just a little bit, just enough to be able to slide that right down into place. And once it falls into place, it's got on the back side of that, there's a tiny little cutout in the plastic piece, and you'll see there's a little part on the frame where it just fits right inside of there. But once you push that down in, you'll feel it kind of snap, click into place, and you'll be able to tell it's in there properly. And you can see here how the base of the plastic is right up against the frame here, so we're good there. Okay, so with that being said, I guess now I realize you don't even need the T6 really. The T6 is to get the battery off. So I wasn't sure which ones I need to take off. So all you need is a T5. Okay, I said T5 and T6, but all you need is a T5. Okay, so from here we're just going to reassemble it. Pretty simple. Okay, so I'm gonna put these 3 screws back in here, here, and here using the T5. Oh, before I do that, before we put that on, we need to go ahead and put this little plastic cover back on, because it needs to slide up underneath here, and I need a little bit of wiggle room, so I don't want those screws holding me down there. So you'll see how this needs to fit up underneath there. Okay, that little plastic cover piece is going to slide up between, right there, it's going to slide up between the board and the frame. And same thing over here on the charging port. Tiny little piece that's got to go up underneath that. Alright, then also, we're going to have to put that up underneath this little clear plastic piece here. Make sure you put that down underneath that clear plastic piece. Okay, this little rubber piece, make sure it's underneath there. Make sure that's all seated good. Looks good to me. Okay, now let's go ahead and put those 3 screws back in. So again, we're putting in this screw, and this screw right here. Alright, so we've got 1, 2, 3 put back in. Now so what I'm going to do is put this board back over in place, and I need to push that little connection back down on there. Don't force it, just kind of wiggle it around, massage it around until you feel it, and then it'll just snap right down into place. Don't try to manhandle that at all, just get it wiggled right where it needs to be, and then you can push it down, and I can feel it seated down on there real good. And that's it, it's replaced. Now let's just slide our back on here. Alright, got that slid back on. So what I'm going to do now is take this little plate. You can see there's 2 little notches there and there. Those need to go up, and then it's going to fall right in. Just like that. And there's a little bit of resistance here because of these two little prongs right here. So there will be a little bit of resistance. It's just those making connection with that right there. Alright, those 2 screws put back in. Let's plug it in and see what happens. Now obviously, if this thing's been dead for long enough, I don't know how long it's been dead, it may take a little while for it to get enough charge to be able to do anything, so it may not show up immediately. Man, that thing started, let me, oh, I can see now it is charging. Okay. Like I said, he gave this to me completely dead, so I never really saw it working very good. I mean, I saw him using it, but I really haven't ever seen when it's charging. Before, this little white light was not coming on, so I didn't know that. I know that now, so for sure before I did not see that white light. Now that white light's on, I know this thing is charging, and like I said, I don't know how long it's been dead, if it's been a week or 2. So the battery may be so dead that it may take a little while to get enough charge to do anything first. But I can tell there that we are charging. We're good to go on that. So easy little fix, easy little replacement. I mean, if you're even just a little bit handy, you could get that fixed pretty simple. Like I said, $9 for the part, including shipping. I paid $7, whatever, for these for this tool set. So if you even have the tool set, have those torx screwdrivers, the T5 actually, then you're good to go. So there it is. Looks like we're charging, and we should be able to boot back up here before too long. Thanks for watching.